In this session, we're going to learn how to use the Kibana dashboard. So if we have a look here, we can see that in order to access the Kibana dashboard, this is the website, data.xinabox.cc. The username is the first part of that domain, which is data. This password is xinabox, which is the second part of that domain. And then what we're going to do is then we need to search for our unit name in the search bar. So when you configured your kit, you gave it a unit name that you needed to be able to recognize. So let's actually open the browser and let's actually start going there. So here we go. I've opened up my browser and I'm going to put in that website, which is data.xinabox.cc. And because I've entered the username and password in the past, it goes directly through to Kibana for me. So just remember that the username is data and the password is xinabox. This is an open sandbox of a Kibana dashboard. And so it's been used by people all across the world. Thousands of people are building their dashboards, etc. So, but you'll certainly be able to find it there. So here you can see that it's landed on the Discover tab. So if we have a look here on the left-hand side, the first tab in the list is called Discover. So that's where it's taken us by default. And it's also taken us to the weather station index by default. So if we just open up the different options that there would be for an index, you can see there's multiple projects that are being conducted using those indexes, but we're going to stay with weather station because that is where our kits are being configured. So these bars over here actually show the number of kits that are connected or the number of data packets that have been received during that minuscule time period. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to look for my kit. And I know that mine always starts with something to do with Judy. And so let's just have a look for that. And yes, we can see my kit is called Judy UNDP1. So that is the kit that I flashed with the UNDP STEM software when I used Xinabox Uploader. Right, so when I open up this tab, we can see over here that I've got the SL01 light sensor connected, which is absolutely correct. So I'm getting a lux reading, which is light intensity. I'm indoors, so my UV index is 0, but if I were to go outdoors, it would really, really climb, especially on a day like today. It's completely cloudless. And then I have the SW02 connected, which is giving me relative humidity of the air temperature, as well as pressure. Here's the timestamp of that particular period. It's telling me here that it's posting to the weather station index. So that's absolutely perfect. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to show you how to actually build a dashboard. And what you need to do is you need to start with visualizations. So we're going to start by saying, let's actually build a visualization. So if we go over here again to the left-hand side, we go to visualize. And there's thousands of visualizations because everybody's been building their own visualization. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to say add. And maybe my first visualization, I actually want to do something to do with lux, light intensity. So I'm going to say, let me have a line chart. So I'm going to select line chart. And you can see over here, it says select index or otherwise select save search. But if we go to index, we can see here, here's our weather station index. So we know that our data is being posted to that index. So we select that index. Right, now what it does is it opens it up and it says, okay, so what we have here is over this last time period, this is once again a count, but I'm not particularly interested in count. What I want to do is that I want to have a look at my light intensity, my natural light intensity. So when we open here on the y-axis, sorry, it says here count. So I'm going to go and I'm going to say I want the average for that period. Because what happens is that your sensors will collect data probably every 10 milliseconds. But it only posts those data packets probably once every second or once every 2 seconds. So I want to have an average of what's in that data packet. And then what I do is that I open up here and I go to field. Now you'll see here there's so many options for field, but remember what it did is it said to me that I had my SL01 connected, and what I want is I want lux. Okay, so there we go. We say SL01 lux, and I'm going to put here light in lux as my description. Okay, and so let's just apply those changes by clicking the little green play button. And but now the thing is, what I actually need is that I need something here. I need something on my x-axis. So what I need to do is that I need to add some buckets to my x-axis. And the way it's been set up is that you go for date histogram. That's really, really important, because what it's doing is this database has been collecting data for years now. So we need to have it as longitudinal. So we select date histogram. So I'm going to put here as naming my axis. I'm going to say that this is date and time. Okay, so let's apply those changes. And now we can see that we have our lux levels over that period. So that's great. So what I'm going to do now is that I am going to save this visualization. Okay, so let me save this visualization, and I'm going to call this Judy UNDP lux over time. Okay, and I'm going to save that. So I save that visualization. Right, so now I've saved that. So what I can do is now I can go to my dashboard tab. So let me go to my dashboard tab, and I now want to create a new dashboard. Once again, there's thousands of different dashboards because there's so many people creating dashboards of their own. So I'm going to say here, create dashboard. And it says this dashboard is empty. Let's fill it up. Click the add button. So we click here on add. Let's add. And what it was something about Judy. Okay, and then there was something about lux over time. You can see I built so many of these things. So let's actually see what it gives me with that. Judy UNDP lux over time. There we go. We have it. And so what it's done, and just by clicking add on that add again, it just closes that bar at the top. Now we can see now I've added that little visualization. So that's over there. So what I want to do is that I want to make sure that it's collecting the data from my actual kit. So I'm going to put my name in here again, because that's how I had configured my kit. And I'm keeping that little star there, okay, because I wanted to search for the one that's got Judy in it. And so now this is actually giving me my data. I know that that is now my data, and it's not an average of everybody's data from across the world. I know that it's the average of those data packets coming from mine. And if you see here in the top right-hand corner, it says last 15 minutes. I actually want a longer time period than that. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to open that up, and you can see you've got quick, relative, or absolute. I'm going to stick with quick, and I'm going to say I'm actually interested in what's been happening in the last 4 hours. So let's put that in for the last 4 hours. What I can do is that I can open that up again, and you can see now this auto refresh button appears. So I'm going to click on auto refresh, and I'm going to say, please auto refresh. For me, I'm going to just going to say every 10 seconds. That's plenty of auto refresh. And then I'm going to save it. So if I click here on save, I'm going to save it as my new dashboard. So I'm going to say over here, I'm going to say this is Judy UNDP1 and today's date, September 11, 2021. Okay, so I'm going to save that. Right. So now I've got that. Now what I can do is now I can just keep adding visualizations. So let's use another example. Let's go back and create another visualization. So click on it twice, so you go back to the main menu, and now we can go add. Now in this particular case, what do I want to do? This particular case, I probably want to have, let's do a gauge. That could look quite nice. Once again, where do I want it from? I want it from the weather station index. And what is the metric that I want to have? Once again, what I want to do is that I want to have average. I want it to move up and down. And the field that I'm going to choose for me is that I'm actually going to choose, I had my SW connected. So what I want to do is that I want to say over here, let's have atmospheric pressure. That's a good idea. And I'm going to say over here, ATM pressure in pascals. Okay, that's great. And then we collect what buckets do we want? Date histogram. Okay, and so what we do is we can just, so over here, we're going to have that as time. And then let's apply those changes. And there we go. It's perhaps, yeah. So there we go. Now what we've done is we've created our new one. And let me put it in over here. I'm going to say Judy ATMP. Right, let's just save that as a new visualization. Let's put that over there. Okay. Save. Oh, I put that in the wrong field. Sorry about that. Judy ATMP. And save. Great. Okay, and so it's measuring 0 at the moment. I'm not too worried about that because it needs to refresh. So let's actually go back to the dashboard, and what I can do here, my dashboard is, and then I can actually add, and I'm going to say, right, please add anything that says ATMP in it. Judy ATMP, there's our gauge. And let's close it again. And there we have our gauge. And what I need to do is I just need to refresh that. So you can see from this that what you do is you just keep building visualizations and you keep adding them to your dashboard. And let's see how you're able to take it from there. So thanks, everyone. And I hope you enjoyed the video.